Hey kids, Invertical here, and welcome back to Empyrion Multiplayer. Right now I'm pretty much alone on the server. Monroe and Sisanix are here, so I've got TeamSpeak off, so I'm not going to be chatting with anybody. And I figured now would be a good chance to kind of bring everybody up to date on how things are going. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get on to either play and or record anywhere near as much as I would like to at this time for personal real life issues. Part of the drawback of living on a farm in Canadian winters is you usually end up spending 100% of your free time dealing with frozen something, which is exactly what I have right now. If water goes in or out of it, it's frozen. So, yeah, I've got a huge set of headaches right now, which is keeping me from getting on the server and doing any actual gameplay. But last week I went and tore apart a space station. I've had a couple of constructors just working on making combat steel, and I have a good collection of that. I figured I'd show you what's going on with the tiger's claw right now. I have pretty much finished the skeletal outline of all the outrigger pylons. These are actually lower than they should be, but I could not get the shape and the height and the design to match what was on the drawing. It was just physically impossible to do. So there was that. I did the little outcroppings on the sides, up here someplace. Again, mirror mode was very useful for that. These, I don't know, they're some kind of weapons emplacement is all they look like. So I just did an outcropping. They're a hollow tube. I'm probably going to shape that when I do the actual shaping. And I did the superstructure bridge deck, or command deck, I guess this would be. I don't know if I can turn, yeah, see, lights don't do anything. I really want to build a bunch of stage lights so I can see what I'm working on, because the sun is really annoying. This structure, again, is as close of an approximation to the picture as I can manage, although the big problem is, of course, is I have one thickness of block to work with, and I really need thinner blocks. Like, I would really love to be able to do a lot of this structure in the small ship size blocks, which would give me a really nice set of detail, layer of detail that I can't achieve with the large ship blocks. But that's okay. That's what I have to work with, so that's what we'll do. But the superstructure is laid out. I've got a little bit of work to do, like this back wall has to be finished and that kind of thing, but that's all roughed in. All these colors and paint markings and random dots on the deck are from me doing counting and layout and planning and plotting and figuring out where things are going to go and how and why and where. You'll see a lot of times there are blocks that are covering over other blocks. So that's coming along. And I have started working on the surface of the runway deck. This is already chewed up probably about 20,000 blocks just to get to here. Again, it's mirror moding. I have to mirror mode and I have to place The other thing is the deck actually thickens up as you go down. It's actually not a thin one-layer deck. So this here becomes the hangar bay, and I have to fill all of this area in here so that I will generate what will eventually become the hangar bay. Now I have to warn you, you'll see this really nasty, annoying flicker as I move around. That's part of the Unity update that I've had nothing but problems with on the Empyrion game since they have implemented the Unity patch. So far, there has been no indication that they are planning on actually doing anything to fix that. My other game that I'm playing, I have frame rate issues where it's actually dropping down to 5 or less frames per second. Again, it's entirely due to the Unity thing, and that's really becoming very annoying for me. In fact, it's probably going to be the one thing that's going to completely push me away from this game. I can't play a game where I got to start putting seizure warnings up, because if I fly around a shipyard or fly around an area, I've got blocks that flicker and twitch. And realistically, that's the way it's looking. And right now I'm sitting at a healthy 20 FPS for my computer. With the recording software on for my computer, that's still slow, but it is manageable. And for being on the single player game, I can't even achieve 20 FPS without the recording software on. So that's really bothering me. Again, it's all ever since they put this Unity patch in, I've had these problems. So I'm sorry you have to bear with me on that issue until Empyrion gets around to fixing their game. I wanted to try to do a little bit more of the layout here on the deck. Now this deck is going to get a lot of angles to it as I do the build itself. Once I go over the skeletal build, I'll be going over it with a layer of 22-degree slopes for the most part, a lot of 22-degree slopes. And I'm going to be tapering everything together and angling it all out. Then a large section of this ship is going to get armor plating, armor layers in it, particularly layers where I would have things of interest. Now, parts of this ship are just literally going to be 1 or 2 layers thick, strictly for show. They're not actually going to have anything in them. I might go around later and finish up a lot of the interior design. This is where I would really love to have the hands of some of the other people who used to play on this server actually join in, because some of the guys like Thor and Raleigh, Wallenstein, that kind of thing, do a really amazing job on interiors as well, especially if I give them a clean blank canvas to work with. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe I can get them to decide to join us. Let's say hi. for those of you who don't know, current temperatures out here are hovering in the minus 30s and 40 degrees, which is why I studied it cold. And oddly enough, minus 40 degrees Celsius is the same as minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit, which means it is cold. So yeah, part of the frozen issues that I was talking about earlier stem from the fact that we are in the middle of a very frigid Arctic air mass snap, whatever you want to call it, that's essentially freezing everything, man and beast and machine. The other part of the reason I'm not able to get on very much recently is I'm actually working again. It's not supposed to be as much hours as I'm getting, but it's the Christmas holidays. One of my coworkers is off on vacation for 2 weeks, and I'm basically covering double shifts. Not bad considering I've only been working on the job for less than a month. So there we have it, the last couple of blocks on the top deck of the runway. Of course, these drops, these step downs are going to get smoothed out. These are going to get taken down to 22 degree slopes that are going to meld into 22 degree, or into walls, which are going to meld into angles, which, you know, I'll drag these out a lot and slope these walls down. The edges are going to get a 22 degree slope upwards, and then they're going to get tied in. These are actually going to get straightened out where these edges are. This is just going to get straightened out and brought down. So that's all got to get done. Oops. I hate the chat on this thing. Okay, there we go. Only has been working very hard on the space station. As you can see, he's still got the network up of satellites, and they have he's actually built a cube of cores, and he's extending the satellite grid out in every direction quite substantially, from what I understand. The cores I'm seeing coincide with different these different corner block placements that he's put out. And yes, this used to be Spange's space station, the one that we bought from Spange that I thought would just needed a coat of paint and a little bit of reworking, has in fact completely been disassembled and completely been reworked. Only has put in some landing bays for small vessels. He's set up some docking platforms for the dragon tails. He's doing a really amazing job. Although everything is still concrete gray, he's doing a really amazing job at redesigning the structure and making this a true military facility that you would see or you would expect to see from a paramilitary organization such as the Companions of War. I'm really happy with that. Unfortunately, it's also meaning that neither one of us is actually getting anything really much done. I mean, we work and then our time is spent on our respective projects. And that is about it. Still trying to see if we can recruit a couple other players for the Companions of War, but at the same time, since a lot of people are not playing right now, it's really very quiet. The server itself is very quiet. I think a part of that is due to the holidays and the Christmas break and all that kind of fun thing. So I'm kind of hoping that things will start to pick up again in the new year. But there you have it, kids. That was basically how things are going, how my life is going, how the world is going. You know, so far nobody's killed everybody or nobody else has destroyed the entire universe, so we're doing pretty good. I'm going to keep plunking away on trying to figure this mess out, again without proper lighting because the sun doesn't stay where I need it to be. And I will try to finish getting the hangars and whatnot built. I'm going to be doing a lot of, again, probably go take out another space station or two in the near future and see how that goes. So I've got a lot of multi-tool work coming up and a lot of building. You can place through a lot of blocks very quickly. And if I bring up P menu here, you can see the stats of this carrier, the way it sits right now. It's currently size class 21, and it is literally nothing more than blocks. I don't know where it's getting these triangles from, because I have no triangles built. I think I've got maybe 20 triangles that I have placed on this entire thing, and that was just to get an outline for where I wanted to test a slope. But 41,000 blocks have already gone into this, and we're literally nothing more than a wire frame. So we got a long ways to go before this gets finished. If you bring this in on Blueprint at some point in the future, you're probably going to really hate yourself because you're going to have to tear apart probably about 7 or 8 large POIs to even come close to getting enough combat steel to build it. But, you know, nothing saying you have to do it in survival. So thanks all for watching, kids. I'm going to go back to building, and I'll talk to you all next time. Good night for now.